What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. We have a new video for you, and it's regarding an ex-Man United player. He's on loan at the minute. Barcelona could buy him for 26 million, but you never know with Barcelona because they did this with João Felix and they didn't end up signing him. So he could potentially become a Man United player still, or will be returning back to Man United. Hence why Paul Scholes, my mate behind me, the legend here, man, has absolutely roasted him. And listen, it was a bit dark. Did he go too far? I ain't gonna lie to you, he went a little bit too far. But we're here to dissect it all. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. And just when you thought, that this culture of bashing players and moving on, and listen, I'm no saint because I'm very, very emotional as a Man United fan, and I look to criticize players. I do praise players, for those that don't actually see. But yeah, man, Paul Scholes on his podcast with Nicky Butt, and they've decided to crash it on Marcus Rashford because there's context behind it. So Marcus Rashford came late to, I don't know if it was a training or the match day or the meeting. It was one of them anyway. And Hansi Flick ended up dropping him from the Barcelona team. He ended up getting an assist anyway in the game. And obviously the day later, Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt, they did a podcast about it. And Paul Scholes in particular had some damning words about Marcus Rashford. We're going to listen to it. We're going to dissect it. And like I said to you, this is an open discussion. Get your opinions in the comments below. Yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's see what he's had to say. This is the context behind Paul Scholes, his opinions. Here we go. Let's listen to this right now.
I really struggle to feel happy for him, mainly because of his attitude. Wow. His attitude towards Man United, I thought it was disgraceful. The amount of times I saw him at Man United walking, because he wants to leave. I thought his whole demeanour about him was a disgrace, right?
Wow.
I think he actually quit on Manchester United. And right. Once you quit once, you'll quit again. He was late last night.
Yeah. That was it, last night.
He won't get away with that with Barcelona for long. There's absolutely no chance.
He needs to be aware, self-aware. He's not a baby no more. He's 27, 28. He's not a kid. He needs to be self-aware about some of the stuff he does and how he projects himself. I thought he was going to come on his show today and go, what about Marcus? What about that goal? I told you this, and then he goes and doesn't turn up for it. It's late for a game.
How can you sleep in these days?
I don't know.
Your phone, fucking alarm, whatever. How can you sleep in?
Yeah, because he's got that talent that he could still be one of the best players in the world.
He's got a talent.
Them two goals.
But he'll never have the mentality in it.
So for me, what struck me from this, right, was this early bit here. Look at this. Look at this first bit here.
Really struggle to feel happy for him. Mainly.
That is crazy. Like, for me, it's one of them ones where to say that I really struggle to feel happy for him. Like, even like me as a big, I would say critic of Marcus Rashford, not only for his consistency, but sometimes I feel like mentality-wise, to clock in as one of the experienced head. We need more from Marcus Rashford. And I'm not pointing the kind of blame on Marcus Rashford over the years, but he's been one of them that you look to for inspiration, for goals, for consistency, to help the younger lads and be that kind of pivotal player for Man United, bro. And for Paul Scholes to say that, but by the way, Paul Scholes is one of the old school, come from the academy, has had to really work hard to get into the team. Yes, he was part of a golden generation, but he's of that old school mentality of, back in my day, this is what we used to do, and Fergie never used to let us off, and Fergie did this to us. And listen, you can't paint the same brush with Marcus Rashford. You just simply can't, bro. So I think it's unfair for Scholes to really say, like, I really can't feel happy for a player, bro. Like, it is a bit dark, bro, and that comes back from his kind of almost old school mentality of, like, you got to give 100%. But let's be honest, bro, Paul Scholes, man, you really didn't give 100% yourself, bro. There's things out there that you refused to play in one of the kind of Worthington Cups or League Cups back in the day. There's been situations of your career. I think Nicky Butt as well. I think for Birmingham City, he was fined for lack of something, discipline, etc., etc. So there's things from their careers that you can point out, but I'm not here to do all of that. I'm just here to focus on what Paul Scholes is saying. And I think for me, what you got to remember with Marcus Rashford, right? His career came at United under sort of fortunate circumstances. Martial was injured. There was a couple of first-team players injured. And he got his moment against Midtjylland, and he took it. Let's be honest, bro. He took it, and I think he scored against Arsenal. He scored in big games. He scored against West Ham, FA Cup games. And you're like, you know what, man? Like, this might be a future star here. This is a future player in the making here where you can look at and be like, you know what, man? This guy's got it, man. He's got speed. He's got energy. He's got a youthful kind of spirit about him where he's fearless. And you know what? You kind of looked at him and thought, you know what, man? This guy's going to go straight to the top. And this is a problem with young players. When they see maybe money and when they see a certain lifestyle and when they see, you know, or when they even go through adversity and pressure, man, you have to have people around you that keep you humbled and grounded. And that's one of the things that I've been very, very focused on about Marcus Rashford. Has he had people around him to keep him focused? Has he had people around him to kind of almost say to him, yo, listen, you're a footballer first. Anything else is a bonus. Anything else is whatever. And I've never really kind of gone at Marcus Rashford for going to a nightclub, for doing this, as long as you perform on the football pitch. The problem with Marcus Rashford, though, is you've had one time where he's very, very consistent, and the next season, he just takes the season off, or for whatever circumstances, he feels like, yo, like, I really can't perform to that maximum. And that's where I believe I've never really rated Marcus Rashford. I'm not going to say to you he's a scrub, like an Anthony or whatever. Like, I'm not going to say that because there is talent to a degree with Marcus Rashford. Like, he's got ability to score goals. He's got ability to create. He's got ability to do things, beat a man and do whatever. But mentally, though, I do agree with Paul Scholes in that aspect. Like, mentally, though, to make it at Manchester United, bro, it's a different level, bro. But for a legend to say that about Marcus Rashford, that he feels like it's hard for him to feel happy for him, even though he's at Barcelona right now, even though he's away from Man United, bro, there's still this kind of feeling that, I don't know what it is with our legends, bro. They're very, very harsh on the new generation of maybe Mancunians. You know, you're looking at Jesse Lingard, for example. He said something in private to Paul Scholes, and Paul Scholes aired it out on national television. And I feel like sometimes, is there a degree of like, you know, they understand these players, bro, and maybe the fact that they've got a certain lifestyle and they're very, very fortunate in that maybe they were earning more than the players above them. I'm not saying there's an enviness and jealousy there, but there seems to be something that, yo, man, like, you might have got it easy. You might have got it easy, so why aren't you performing? And I'm sorry, you can't put the two. Both don't align together, bro. Just because you're earning a certain amount of money doesn't mean that you're going to be performing at that level. Listen, Marcus Rashford has been graced with £300,000 a week at Man United, bro. But doesn't mean that he's playing at that level, bro. Like, it is what it is. United were dumb enough to give him that money. And I think, for me, we can all agree Marcus Rashford was never really a 300 grand sort of player. Like, was he? Did we need to give him that much money? Because the pressure is crazy, bro. For a club to do that, it almost instantly means that everyone else now can use Marcus Rashford as a punching bag. So when he goes outside and does all of these things and whatnot, and he isn't performing, it's almost like, why isn't Marcus Rashford doing that? Why isn't Marcus Rashford scoring goals, etc., etc.? Whereas if we had a kind of almost, you know, a wage bracket and a wage structure, Marcus Rashford would be on a 200, 250 base, you know, that kind of level there. And especially for a club at Man United where wages were just given out willy-nilly, like, just so easily. So I look at Scholes and I look at Nicky Butt. I feel like they've got to be a bit more, I don't know, man, understanding. Is that the right word? But then again, people will say to you, well, they've got every right. They've won it all. They've seen it all. They've been here, done it, bro. They can say what they want. And there's that fine line. Because for me, when you actually look at myself, right, I've got no right to say some of the stuff I've said. I've never played football professionally. But as fans, we pay our hard-earned money to watch these players. And we don't see commitment and effort, bro. I'm sorry, man. It's not good enough. It is not. Like, we've got a right to criticize. Have I gone overboard? Yes, I admit it. But it's heat in the moment. You're losing your whatever, and you lose a game, and you see them walking around. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have seen Marcus Rashford walking around. And if you don't like it, and if you don't see it, then that's on you. And maybe there's a little bit of a bias going on. Maybe there is a lot of player SCs. I hear it. You like the player, but be objective. That's all I ask for from the United fan base, is be objective. You get me? When you see good, you give it credit. When you see bad, give it credit, bro. Yes, I don't really particularly like the way that Bruno Fernandes plays, but there's certain elements of his game that I do like. With Rashford, there was parts of his elements I liked and I didn't like. Overall, not my cup of tea, Marcus Rashford. But will I go overboard like this when I talk about I struggle to feel happiness? No. If he goes to Barcelona and does well, I'm happy for him, bro, because I'm a local lad. I'm not far from Withenshaw, and you know what? I wouldn't want to wish any sort of bad ill on Marcus Rashford or say, you know what, I hope he fails. Nah, bro. We get our money, we've saved our wages, we move on. We've got Brian and Boomer, we've got Cunha now. It's a new era, it's a new dawn. Whether they are going to be better than Marcus Rashford and produce better than Marcus Rashford, it's a whole different conversation. But at the same time, for me, it's one of them where, with our legends though, and I see it a lot with our legends, is that they sometimes fail to understand two different eras of football. The era of football they grew up in, it's not the era of football we grew up in now. The way that sometimes body language can be perceived is not going to be the way it's perceived in the 90s. You feel me? They will look at a person like maybe a Martial or Rashford, who sometimes is probably kind of almost not really showing a lively kind of almost kind of confidence or personality to a guy that really isn't caring. You can't do that, Paul Scholes and so forth. That might be just their demeanour. That might be just who they are. You feel me? And that was a lot of the time, particularly labelled at Martial. He doesn't care. He's just kind of put his head down. His body language stinks, bro. And I don't really like that, bro, because that could be just a personality trait that a person has that is very, very almost kind of just quiet, goes about his business, does his own thing, bro. Not every player has to be this loud, character like Bruno Fernandes and shows passion on the football pitch. Some people show it in different ways. Some people show commitment in different ways. So it's one of them. They clearly care about Marcus Rashford because they're talking about him. And in the end, Nicky Butt does say things that, you know what, if he'd put his head down and whatnot, because 27, 28, he'd still be one of the best players in the world. But it's one of them where, for people like Marcus Rashford, they're probably thinking they can never win with these legends because it's always something that they're talking about. It's always something where they're having to comment on, and it just gets a bit too much for them. It really does. And I just look at it from my point of view as of separate whatever you're trying to do into different parts, bro. I feel like for me, football, lifestyle, money, kind of separate them all. Look at what they produce on a football pitch. And if they're not producing a football pitch, that means then something is distracting them. You feel me? I for me, look at ability first. Are they good enough or not? You know what I mean? And for me, there's been certain players at Man United that have just not been good enough. That's it. You don't even need to go to detail as to why they're not being good. You just got to look and think, it hasn't worked out. With Marcus Rashford, he's not been a flop. He's not been someone who has disgraced the shirt. Has he fulfilled his potential at Man United? That's a whole different conversation that needs deep analysis. But for me, I look at these legends, and listen, we love our legends, bro, but they can be a little bit too harsh because I feel like they're stuck in the past. And when you're stuck in the past, you have the standards of the past into today, and they're not the same, bro. You don't have the same quality of players now. You don't have the same certain kind of characteristics in players now. You just don't, bro. Forwards are not the forwards of before. Wingers are not the wingers of before. Strikers are not the strikers of before. It's like when Thierry Henry is maybe criticising Gyökeres, he wants him to become what he probably was. And you're not going to get that with Gyökeres. And he's sometimes the punditry, I don't know, man. I'm not saying change it, but I'm like, you've got to assess things a bit more differently now, man. That's all I would say personally for me, but each to their own, you know what I mean? And like I said to you, man, I don't particularly regard Rashford as this superstar, but I do think he's got qualities and I do think he's got ability. It's just that it's not consistent, bro. And that's what it is, probably. Consistency added to the fact that the mentality might not be together in that aspect. That's the two combinations, I think, for me, Marcus Rashford. For me, in my own opinion, you know, I had concerns, majorly concerns about from about, I reckon, about 2019 onwards, bro. Before that, I thought Marcus Rashford, maybe, and I look at Van Gaal, whether Van Gaal could have stayed, because I feel like maybe managers looked at Rashford, especially when Mourinho came in, not really much coaching, developed under Ollie, then stagnated under Rangnick, then came a little bit better under Ten Hag, then stagnated. It's just been an up and down career, but ultimately it's down to you whether you live up to your own, expectations and you demand more from yourself. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below, man, if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, and give me your thoughts, man. And yeah, man, it'd be interesting to see what you lot think about that all, man. But guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again sometime soon. Take care, bye-bye, peace.